Good evening. This is EmoNews, every moment online. We're so happy to have you with us tonight. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines. National Bank of Dominica graduates first cohort of Leadership Development Program. Over 700 coconut trees destroyed. Ministry considering compensation. Elections results out from the Roseau City Council. St. Kitts and Nevis sailors shine at Budget Marine Regatta in Antigua. 4 teams advance to Domino League semi-finals. And all roads lead to Benjamin's Park for Secondary Schools Athletics Championship this Wednesday and Thursday. Details of these stories and more coming up next. Stay with us.
Welcome to Antigua. These people have no behavior. They have no behavior. Welcome to Antigua. Clear out how you know it's danger. How you know it's danger. When it comes to massive.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis, and this is the news broadcast for the 24th of March, 2026. In local news this evening, the Ministry of Agriculture has intensified efforts to eradicate lethal yellowing disease in coconut trees on the island. At a press conference on Friday, the ministry confirmed that over 700 trees have already been destroyed in the Woodford Hill area, identified as the epicenter of the disease and designated a red zone. Honorable Roland Royer, Minister of Agriculture, called on residents to cooperate with the ministry to contain the spread of and eradicate the disease, saying that his government is considering compensation for farmers.
We are actively developing and implementing support measures, including a compensation framework for affected farmers, as well as plans for rehabilitation and replanting using more resilient and suitable varieties. We will also continue to strengthen farmer engagement and public awareness, as community cooperation is essential to the success of this response. Early reporting of suspected cases, adherence to guidelines, and support for field operation will significantly improve our ability to contain the disease. Let me be clear, this is a serious situation.
Further, the minister thanked international partners who had already committed their assistance in the fight against the disease.
Where they will provide us with a pathologist, an entomologist, and an integrated crop management expert to assist us in the management of that. And they're also going to build our capacity at our local molecular lab to supply us with reagents so we can do the testing locally. So our partners are already reaching out to us in terms of building capacity and also to help us to even print and produce more public awareness material so we can have this thing under control. So I want to say thank you to the FAO, ICA, and everybody who have been supporting us so far. And because we cannot overstate or stress, this is a very, very serious disease. More so, the number of persons, livelihoods who depend on the coconut industry. And we will say again, the cooperation of the public is a must, because if we don't get the cooperation, all the efforts that we're making to eradicate will be useless. So thank you so much for your time, and I pass back to you, Ms. Durham.
Newcomer and entertainer Kenny John Baptist, better known as Kenny G, is among those winning council elections in Roseau. Information from the electoral office gives the top winners in each ward as follows. In Ward 1, former Mayor Ermin Royer with 203 and Moesha Joseph with 200. In Ward 2, Paloma Mark with 306 and Kenny John Baptist 235. In Ward 3, Quincy Angle 98, Michael Moreau 80. In Ward 4, Lucy Bell Matthew with 408 and Sherman Boston with 267. Persons were allowed to vote for 2 persons in each ward. And farmers are being placed at the forefront of climate resilience planning as efforts intensify to strengthen the agricultural sector against the impacts of climate change. Through the ESSAA1 project funded by the government of Italy, the United Nations Development Programme UNDP, in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, is advancing community-centered climate resilience initiatives across the island. As part of this initiative, the project team recently engaged vegetable farmers in Mount Prosper in a stakeholder consultation focused on climate-resilient irrigation and climate-smart agriculture. The insights gathered from these consultations will play a critical role in shaping irrigation systems, strengthening farmer capacity, and guiding broader resilience strategies. Officials say the approach ensures that interventions remain practical, inclusive, and grounded in the realities faced by local farming communities. And also in local news this evening, the National Bank of Dominica has successfully completed the first cohort of its Leadership Development Program, known as LEAD. The program is designed to strengthen leadership capacity and prepare the bank's next generation of leaders. The closing ceremony was held on Wednesday, March 18, 2026, celebrating the achievements of 24 participants from across the bank's departments, including finance, marketing, IT, human resources, and risk. Delivered in partnership with the Caribbean Center for Development Administration, the program ran from September 2025 to March 2026 in a hybrid format. It focused on building leadership skills, fostering collaboration, and supporting professional growth at all levels of the institution. NBD's Managing Director, Annette Severel Lestrade, praised the cohort for their dedication, resilience, and emerging leadership potential. She emphasized that leadership is measured by initiative and influence, not titles, and expressed confidence in the bank's future based on the strength of its first group. The bank also acknowledged CARICAD's expert facilitation and its own human resource unit's commitment in making the program a success. MBD says investing in its people remains central to its long-term strategy for growth and sustainability. The first LEAD cohort makes a milestone in NBD's talent development journey as the bank continues to cultivate leaders who will drive innovation, uphold excellence, and strengthen its impact for generations to come. And finally, in local news, the Dominica State College has extended support to one of its own, Mr. Shashi Gu, an architecture student who lost his belongings in a devastating fire in Roseau on March 1st. In a show of solidarity, the college made a donation derived from a fundraiser initiative to assist him during this difficult time. The handover was attended by students from his faculty, including student ambassadors who came out in support. Representatives from the FAAT, the Student Affairs Department, and the I Love You Foundation were also present, highlighting a collective effort to stand with the student. The gesture underscores DSC's commitment to supporting its students beyond the classroom, especially in times of need. And that's all for local news this evening. Stay tuned for regional news coming up next. And now for regional news. St. Kitts and Nevis sailors made waves at the Budget Marine 23rd ILCA and 8th Optimist Open Regatta in Falmouth Harbour, Antigua. Abhijit Srinivasan claimed third place in the ILCA 4.7 class, becoming the first St. Kitts and Nevis sailor to reach a regional ILCA podium. Representing the Nevis Aquatic and Sailing Center, his historic finish highlights the nation's growing sailing talent. Grayson Burrell took first place in the Optimist Advanced Fleet, continuing his impressive regional performances for the St. Kitts Yacht Club. Both sailors showcased skill, determination, and composure against a strong field, reflecting the strength of youth sailing programs and local clubs in St. Kitts and Nevis. The St. Kitts and Nevis Sailing Association congratulates the athletes, their coaches, families, and supporting clubs, noting that these milestones inspire the next generation of sailors. And now moving over to Belize. Belize is taking a community-first approach to tourism, focusing on sustainability, long-term economic benefits, and the protection of natural and cultural treasures. Speaking on Greater Belize Medias, the Open Your Eyes show on Monday, Nicole Osher Solano, CEO of the Ministry of Tourism, Youth, Sports, and Diaspora Relations, said sustainable tourism is the type of tourism that we look to do in Belize. Joining her were Erin Gongora, Sustainable Tourism Coordinator at the Belize Tourism Board, and Narendra Ramgalam, Deputy Director of Sustainable Tourism at the Caribbean Tourism Organization. The discussion highlighted the upcoming Sustainable Tourism Conference 2026, set for April 27 to 30 in San Pedro, Ambergris Cay. Under the theme, Tourism in Full Color, the event will bring together leaders from the blue, green, and orange economies to shape the future of responsible and regenerative tourism across the Caribbean. The Pan-American Health Organization and Global Affairs Canada have renewed their partnership with a $15 million agreement to improve sexual and reproductive health for women and adolescent girls in 6 countries across the Americas. The C-GAPS project will run from 2026 to 2030, focusing on Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, Guyana, Honduras, and Peru. The initiative aims to strengthen health systems, advance women's leadership, and expand access to services, especially for vulnerable groups, including migrants, indigenous and Afro-descendant communities, LGBTQ+ individuals, and women with disabilities. The partnership addresses key challenges such as maternal and neonatal mortality, adolescent pregnancy, gender-based violence, and access to contraception, building on years of collaboration between PAHO and Canada to empower women and girls across the region. And that's all for regional news this evening. Stay tuned for international news coming up next.
Blast Gaming presents its biggest job ever. Blast Mystery Progressive. I'm so excited. I can't hide it. The new Blast Jackpot rising. And I like it. It going up and up and up and up and up. Blast up and up and up and up and up and up.
Play selected games to win in the Blast Mystery Progressive. Pick until you match 3 gems and win one of the 5 cash jackpots. Or you can blast up with the Mystery Progressive jackpot.
It going up and up and up and up and up. Blast up and up and up. Blast Gaming.
And now for international news. A driver got caught in a rock slide in southern Turkey after storms dumped heavy rain on the region. Online footage shows the moment soil and large rocks broke loose from a steep hillside and crashed onto the Mersin-Antalya highway near the Idinsik district. In seconds, a passing car was completely engulfed by the cascade of earth. The driver, a 44-year-old man identified only as Okan, had no time to react as the debris struck. Emergency crews worked quickly to uncover the vehicle and pull him from the wreckage. Officials say he survived with only minor injuries and was taken to a hospital for treatment. Authorities have closed the road in both directions and warned of further landslide risk as heavy rains continue to affect the area. Meteorologists reported that recent storms brought intense rainfall to the region, saturating slopes and increasing the danger of rockslides and flash flooding. Drivers are being urged to avoid non-essential travel on affected routes until conditions improve. At least 64 people were killed and many more injured after a Colombian military transport plane crashed on takeoff in the south of the country, according to the region's governor, Jean Gabriel Molina. The C-130 Hercules aircraft broke into pieces on impact and caught fire after going down. Among the 114 passengers on the aircraft were 112 members of Colombia's army and 2 police officers. Molina said, adding that 11 crew members were also on board. The cause of the crash has not yet been determined, Defense Minister Pedro Sanchez said. There is no indication of an attack by criminal groups, he added. The plane was in airworthy condition and the crew was duly qualified, he said. And finally, in international news, in a major civil ruling, a California jury has awarded a woman $19 million after finding Bill Cosby liable for sexually assaulting her nearly 50 years ago. The Santa Monica trial lasted almost 2 weeks, during which jurors held the 88-year-old actor responsible for sexual battery and assault. The verdict includes $17 million in past damages and just over $1 million for future damages. Cosby's attorneys say they plan to appeal the decision. The case follows Cosby's release from a Pennsylvania prison near 5 years ago after the Supreme Court overturned a similar criminal conviction. The victim says Cosby invited her to a comedy show, gave her wine and pills, causing her to lose consciousness, and she later woke up at her home partly unrobed. Cosby has yet to make any comments. And that's all for international news this evening. Stay tuned for the sports segment coming up next.
Don't forget, today we have funeral, we have functions. Make sure you're on time.
Always on time, eh?
You're always on time. Make sure. All right. Papa Met, look, I just received a message from National Bank asking me to regain access to my account. Look at message that your account has been placed on hold due to an unusual activity. Let me click that link.
How many times NBD has to say that they will never ever send links via text message to regain access to account or to restore account or to do anything with account?
So National Bank that sent it, I believe it. I just click in.
Emo, if you are not sure, it's better if you call National Bank at 255-2300 or email them at customersupport@nbd.dm.
Papa Met, little again I lose all the little money I save up from my account.
And you'd find money to pay me.
Yeah, I tell you, I almost click link and almost lose my money. You're talking about I hope I have money to pay you. Let's go, eh?
All I know is don't click any link. Call NBD instead.
So let us go to our business.
Welcome to the sports segment. Volleyball action heated up over the weekend as the Dominica Amateur Volleyball Association hosted its KFC Ballorama competition on Sunday. In the women's division, the Acers once again demonstrated their dominance, capturing another Ballorama championship title and continuing to solidify their position as the team to beat. Meanwhile, in the men's division, Club 1 extended their winning streak, securing their third consecutive Ballorama title in impressive fashion. The KFC-sponsored event showcased high-level competition, with both teams building what many are calling volleyball dynasties, as records are being set and history continues to unfold in the National League. And all roads lead to Benjamin's Park this Wednesday and Thursday for the highly anticipated Secondary Schools Athletics Championship. Student athletes from across Dominica are set to compete in a range of track and field events as school battle for top honors in one of the biggest fixtures on the secondary school sports calendar. West Indies batsman Kavem Hodge is also calling on the public to come out and join him in supporting the young athletes as the excitement unfolds over the 2 days of competition.
It's Kavem Hodge here, and I'm urging you, yes you, to come out and support the 2026 Secondary Schools Athletic Championships. Where you might ask? At Benjamin's Park in Portsmouth from the 25th to the 26th of March, starting at 9:30 a.m., not 9:40, not 9:50, 9:30 a.m. Bring your rags, bring your cooler, drag your auntie along, come and support your schools, your friends. Come and see the best talent that Dominica has to offer. Don't miss that chance. See you there.
Also happening in sports, the Sports Division Secondary Schools Under-20 Boys Basketball Championship tipped off at Windsor Park Sports Stadium with two exciting matchups. In the opening game, Pierre Charles Secondary School delivered a great performance, defeating Portsmouth Secondary School 103-21. Leading the charge for Pierre Charles were Milton Thomas with 28 points, Kaylan George with 24, Kishon Winston with 16, and Kieron Henderson with 15. Portsmouth's top scorer was Delani Marie with 13 points. In the second encounter, Dominica State College secured a 75-58 victory over St. Mary's Academy. Keomar Telemark led the scoring with 22 points, supported by Kaylan Paul with 15 and Dinari Dyer with 14. For St. Mary's Academy, Kian Brumant netted 24 points, while Dylan Grant added 12 and Mariano Blah chipped in with 11. The championship continues this week with more exciting matchups expected. And now for some domino updates. Brigadier Stars of Paybush, Eclipse of Pottersville, Rosamond White City of Grand Fort, and One Love of Tarish Pete have all advanced to the semi-finals of the West Coast Cooperative Credit Union Island-wide Domino League, following last weekend's quarter-final matches. In Paybush, Brigadier Stars dominated No Name with an 877-point victory, finishing 3,038 to 2,161. Eclipse also delivered a strong performance, defeating Westbridge by 840 points with a final score of 3,024 to 2,184. Meanwhile, in Grand Fort, Rosamond White City secured a 393-point win over Warriors, ending 3,030 to 2,637 in front of a large crowd. One Love edged past non-players by 271 points in a closer contest, winning 3,008 to 2,737. The semi-finals are set for this weekend at Glenda Bar in Layu from 2 p.m. with Brigadier Stars facing Rosamond White City and Eclipse taking on One Love. And finally, in the sports segment, Dominica's senior men's national football team departed the island earlier today en route to the Dominican Republic for the CONCACAF series. The national squad is set to open their campaign on Friday, where they will face Guyana in what is expected to be an exciting match. As the team heads into international competition, fans are being encouraged to rally behind the players and show their support. We join in wishing the team a safe journey and the very best in the tournament. And that's all for the sports segment this evening. Stay tuned for the weather report coming up next. And this brings us to the end of tonight's news broadcast for the 24th March 2026. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis. On behalf of the entire newscast, we say thank you for viewing. This is Emo Nightly News, every moment online. Have a good night.